So you're telling me there's a chance. My name's Stephen Greek. I'm a coach, speaker, author, and we build champions. So jumping on here just to share a word of encouragement. You know, we last time we were on here, we looked at the story of Jim Carrey playing the part of Lloyd Christmas in the movie Dumb and Dumber and his pursuit of his love, Mary Swanson, and wanted to return her briefcase to her to make sure that she got what she needed. But in the middle of that, he asked Mary, he said, basically, what are the chances of us getting together? And she said, probably 1 in a million. And he said, so you're telling me there's a chance. That movie, Dumb and Dumber, it's a silly movie, a lot of laughs, but what we like and what we talked about last time we were on here was like, all you can ask for in life is a chance, going after the things that you want to go after. What are some of the goals that you have for your life, for your relationships, for your friendships, for your business, for your team, the people that you work with? All we can ask for in life is a chance. And that's the theme of the book I wrote. You know, we also talked about Star Wars, the science fiction movie series I love and grew up on, love Star Wars. And Han Solo was flying his starship through the asteroid field, and it was extremely dangerous. And the mathematical odds were very slim to none that they could make it through there. And Han Solo said, never tell me the odds, right? And so as we get to the next part of the book, a little preview, we're going to look at American Idol. You're going to shift gears here. I'm a high school football coach, but you know what? I love music, and our family over the years has enjoyed the show American Idol. We love to see who gets to advance on to the next round and go to the Hollywood Week and eventually become a finalist and America's the next American Idol, right? But over the years, when our boys were little, we would watch that show. Early in the season, you had the contestants that would come on, and they would sing their hearts out and perform their hearts out. And many times there's a lot of talent, and then sometimes there is limited talent. Is that a nice way of saying it? There were limitations, right, on their ability to sing a song or perform an act in such a way that would capture the hearts of the judges and the American people. There were some silly skits. If you ever watched that show, you may remember a few of them, but we always enjoyed early in the season when some of these people would get on, we would watch their entertainment. But one of the funny things about American Idol, especially early in the season, is when these entertainers are rejected and they don't get to advance to the next round, they don't get the ticket to Hollywood, they don't get the golden ticket, if you will. What happens is the reaction that they sometimes have, like, right? You've seen sometimes there's a meltdown. Sometimes they start crying tears of disappointment. And sometimes they walk out that door and their family's waiting to hear the good news. Like, are you going to Hollywood? Or did you get the golden ticket? And they say, I didn't get it. Or the judges were so mean, right? And all of a sudden you see a switch gets flipped, okay? And some of the family or the friends, the people that were there supporting them, turned extremely ugly toward the judges or toward those people. And the reality is, I think the rest of America, the people that were watching that show, realized, like, hey, the judges saw what we just saw and heard. You can't sing. You don't belong to go on. You don't belong in the next round. But we always enjoyed that because there were people who were living in their own little world who thought they deserved to advance to the next round. That American Idol, that dream, right? So you're telling me a chance? So you're telling me there's a chance? Sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. But, you know, sometimes the friends and the family members were heartbroken. Sometimes the friends and family members were shocked. Sometimes the friends and family members were in disarray. Sometimes the friends and family members used inappropriate language. Sometimes the friends and family members were mean to the TV crew. And sometimes the friends and family members came after the judges in anger. Over the years, you might have heard things like this. Simon Cowell, you sound like a karaoke singer. I've heard some good karaoke singers. Some of you on here maybe sing karaoke every now and then. I'm sure you do a good job. Maybe you should audition for the next American Idol. Maybe not. But that was the worst performance I've ever seen. That was pitchy, dog. You have no chance of winning. And that was really interesting. That's a nice way of saying, I don't think so. That was like a train wreck. So you hear at the audition of American Idol, you hear all sorts of criticisms, and sometimes they try to be really nice because you can tell when people are putting their heart and soul into it, and they're just not quite ready. And then sometimes they don't have the talent to become the next American Idol. But the reaction to the rejections I always found interesting. Sometimes mom will say, I can't believe they sent him home. He was so talented. Oh, a mother's love sometimes can be so blind. This is just unfair. He deserved to be in the top 5, said sister. Dad said, what were the judges thinking? This was his dream. A friend might say, I'm so upset right now. He worked so hard for this, right? And so on and on, you see that quest and that dream to become the next American Idol. But you know what? So you're telling me there's a chance, huh? I think if we as leaders, as husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, grandparents, teenagers, student athletes, business owners, whatever our arena is that we live in, if you're going to go after your dreams, if you're going to go after the things you want in life, you're going to get probably a lot of doors closed in your face. You're going to get rejected quite a lot. And so much of what we have to learn to develop is that struggle muscle that says, I'm going after my dreams. Even if my chances are like Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber said, even if my chances are 1 in a million, you're telling me there's a chance? I'm going to keep swinging. Now, we got to understand that champions get rejected, just like the contestants who were seeking a golden ticket. Champions experience fatigue and failure, just like the participants on their quest to become an American Idol. There are questions of doubt that even the American Idols periodically faced as they looked in the mirror. You know, so much, if you follow the seasons over the years of the American Idol and you follow from week to week and you see the behind the scenes interviews and camera crews, you see sometimes, many times there is fatigue. Their voice gets tired. They're down on their sleep. They're not on a regular schedule. There's the mental strength and mental health. There's just the overwhelming sense of this young man or this young woman is from a small town. They've never performed outside of their little country church. They've never performed on TV or in front of thousands. And now all of a sudden, in a matter of weeks, they're being thrust onto a national stage with millions of people watching them entertain. You see, that's a dream. That's something they're chasing and going after. And maybe they weren't even really looking for it. Sometimes you'll find friends and family members that will nominate them or sign them up or encourage them, like, you need to go try out. Oh, I'm just waiting tables. I like to sing on the weekend. I like to sing at church. I'm not chasing. And all of a sudden they are thrust because of exposure and one opportunity, 1 in a million, they are escorted on stage to use their gifts and their talents to encourage and bless others. That's what leaders do. Leaders use their gifts and their talents, not just to shine a spotlight on themselves, but to make everyone around them better. But let's not forget that American Idol, the person with the record deal, the person that's the top 10, the top 5, the finalist, and the champion, they're all winners. I mean, you make it that far, you're elite, you're special, you have gifts that you need to share with the world. But if you've watched the American Idol show over the years, you've seen there are questions of doubt, things and moments where future champions walk through seasons of doubt and ask themselves tough questions like this. And maybe you've been there. I know I've been there. Maybe you've been there where you said, do I have it in me? Can I keep going? Am I good enough? What if I fail again? Is this even worth it? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Will anyone believe in me? Am I cut out for this? What if I'm just not meant to succeed? How do I get past this fear? Do I have the strength to keep going? Am I doing this for the right reason? Is there something wrong with me? What if I'm not as talented as I thought or as my grandma thought? Will I ever get the recognition I deserve? Why does it feel like I'm stuck in the same place? At some point, people are going to think you don't have what it takes. It may be on national television, it may be in a small community, but someone somewhere is going to say, you're just average. What do we do with criticism, rejection, and the truth as others see it? We must have a mature mindset of how we are progressing on our journey. Champions understand there are times of victory and there are times of defeat. And as a leader, we are driven to compete and give our best. As a leader, we want to conquer and win. As a leader, we wake up and impact others. And as a leader, we want to make great things happen. As a leader and a champion, what do we do in moments of failure, rejection, and disappointment? I want to ask you that question for a minute. If you like this content, please heart, like, follow, share, repost, all the things. We're on all the socials, and we just want to encourage people out there, whoever tunes in. We're thankful for you. We would love for you to follow us on a regular basis, because we jump on here and we provide free resources. And I'm an author, a speaker, a coach. I'm a 4-time state champion football coach in the state of Texas. But I've been surrounded by amazing leaders and mentors who have poured into me, and that's given me the opportunity to pour into young people and try to build something special. But through those moments, whether it's in athletics or in music, or we're talking about American Idol and getting rejected and looking in the mirror and questioning yourself, like, do I have enough? Am I enough? Is it really in me to go out there and do what I'm being asked to do? Some people are overconfident. We talked about that at the beginning of the American Idol show. They walk out there like they own the place, and then they open their mouth and they sing, and it's like, whoa, please don't, please, you might be talented and gifted, but music may not be for you. That may not be what God designed for you to do. But you know what? Go get some vocal lessons. Circle back a year from now. Let's see where you are from there. But we got to understand as a leader, and when I talk about leader, I'm talking to some of you out there. Some of y'all are coaches, like you're athletic coaches, you're sport coaches. Some of you you're the coach of your own academy. And what I mean by that is your academy is your family. You're a husband, you're a wife, you're a father, you're a mother, you're a grandparent. Maybe you're a teenager. You're the leader. You're the team captain of the basketball or the volleyball team or the football team. And you've got people that are counting on you to be your best and bring your best every single day. And sometimes it feels like the odds are stacked against us, and adversity is leaning and pushing in on us. And the pressure sometimes can feel like it's too much, like it's insurmountable. And that's where so much of what we want to do as individuals is work on ourselves. The enemy is not out there. The enemy is looking at us in the mirror. We've got to attack our limiting beliefs, the things that we have grown up with hearing, right? Whispered in our ear. Some of us come from amazing backgrounds and amazing homes, loving homes. Some of us have come from extremely challenging circumstances and home lives and childhoods that we are learning to overcome, to persevere through. We had to reframe and rewire the brain to think and look at situations through a new set of eyes. And when that adversity is pushing on us and leaning on us, and it feels like the four walls are caving in, who are we in the moments where we're getting squeezed? You know, I used to tell our athletes that If I took an orange and I squeeze that orange, what should come out of that orange is orange juice. When I take a leader and a champion and I squeeze them, you know what comes out? Greatness. That's what should come out of a champion and leader, not the murmuring and the complaining and the gossip and the griping and the melting. I tell my team sometimes that we get soft. You take a stick of butter and you put it in the microwave and you microwave it for 20 or 30 seconds. That butter will just melt. And you know what? That's what some people do when a little bit of adversity starts to poke on them. They lose their cool. They throw an adult temper tantrum or a teenage temper tantrum. Sometimes they take it out on the people that love them the most or that they say they love the most. And it's a dangerous place to be. And if that is something we identify inside of us, whether we're a coach, a husband, a dad, a business owner, a CEO, we've got people that are counting on us to be our best and to know how to respond when it hits the fan, when things don't quite go the way they ought to go. Who are we in those moments? Who are we when we don't win the competition? Who are we when we miss the deadline, when we lose the game, when we don't pass the exam, when we don't get the job offer or get that scholarship or get that call back or get the raise or meet expectations or get that client, when we fall short of our own goals? Who are we in those moments? Who are we, just like we're talking about American Idol, when we don't get that golden ticket? Do we need to do some work? Do we need to do some vocal work or some training or get some mental toughness? Like, how can we grow? Okay? How can we improve ourselves? We have to stop playing the victim every time. In life, you're either a victim or a victor. And I'm talking to all the champions out there or the champions in the making, right? You are a champion. You were created on purpose, with a purpose. Now go out and live on purpose. But see, sometimes life, the pressure, things happen and all of a sudden what comes out isn't what ought to be coming out of a champion. And that's when we got to do a checkup from the neck up and say, okay, what's going into my mind that's trickling down to my heart and then coming out of my hands? We talked about that last time. We said anything, the gates of our eyes and our ears, what we listen to, what we think about, what we dwell upon, it goes from our head to our heart to our hands. And as leaders, we've got to understand that if we're not responding the right way, then we've got opportunities to grow. There's a chance. I'm telling you, there's a chance for growth. There's a next level version of you and me that's on the other side of going through hard stuff and going through hard things. So I want to encourage you tonight. Champions must remember they will rise and rebound in due season. I played college basketball and I used to, for many years, was an assistant basketball coach and love my kids that played for me to this day. A lot of them are husbands and dads and business owners, and they're out there making a difference in their community. And I have so many good memories of great. We had some great games, but we had some unbelievable practices. And we used to have a drill we called the rebound wars. Any coaches out there? You ever played rebound wars? I mean, we used to play 2-on-2, 3-on-3 under the basket in the paint. The ball would go up. You weren't allowed to dribble. If you got the rebound, you were going to go back up. And you know what? We had a rule. There are no rules. You could foul, and you could foul hard. And you know why we liked that drill? Because it created toughness. And what we know is that tough people win in competitive sports. And I would dare say, and I submit for your conviction tonight, that you would consideration that you would transfer the sports analogy, that if tough people win in sports and in football and basketball and volleyball and baseball, and if tough people win, then could that translate to leadership and life? And there is a level. How do you become a tough leader? Well, you just like when you go into the weight room and you get under the bar and you lift weights and you wake up sore. You struggle to get those reps up. When you struggle, That builds the muscle. That builds strength. When we struggle through life, and I don't mean struggle through life nonstop, and some of us maybe have, maybe that's part of our story, but the story is still being written. There's the sun is going to come up tomorrow, and there's going to be new opportunities. There's going to be new chances for you to chase your dreams. In moments of defeat and discouragement, we want to make sure we don't become bitter. And that's kind of what I'm talking about is if tough people win, we want to be tough when we go through stuff, but we don't want to be tough toward other people in the chair and the calling of leadership. Now, are there times where we have to have tough conversations? Sure, absolutely. Okay. But I believe that even in the middle of tough circumstances, tough situations, and tough conversations, if we as mature leaders understand developed leaders who love their team, love their people, love their family, love their spouse, love their children, we can have hard conversations from a posture of, I love you and I care about you and I want to see the best in you. Now, how can we handle this situation and become better and become more? We don't want to be so tough that we become bitter as leaders. We also don't want to allow the tough things that life may bring our way to where we become bitter, sour, negative. That's the type of leader and person that most people don't want to be around. And that's not just in the workplace or in the business world. That could be at church. That could be at home. That could be a kid. If you're a parent, like, we're human. There's the human element. We make mistakes. I've made many mistakes. But again, if even in the middle of the messiness, if the posture of our heart is one where, look, I love you, I care about you. Sometimes I make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we own them. And we get back on track. That sun's going to come out tomorrow. One of my favorite Bible verses says that the mercy of the Lord is new every morning. Every morning that sun comes up. That's a new opportunity. So you're telling me you're telling me there's a chance that even though I messed up 1,000,000 times yesterday, even though I failed so many times, that there's a clean slate for you and for me to grow, to impact, to inspire, to influence, and to ignite that champion inside of us. Come on, sign me up for that opportunity. And that's what we have to, and I don't want to discredit or get away from the fact that, you know, I'm a coach, right? I'm talking about being tough, and we've all gone through seasons of that. But here's the thing. Let's not become bitter. We want to make sure we don't allow our lives to get filled with poisonous and venomous thoughts and attitudes. We want to make sure we don't gossip, complain, and slander others. Champions do not allow disappointments to turn you into someone you know you shouldn't be. Now, grieve. If you got to cry, man, cry it out. Rest. Sometimes we need a day of rest. We need a Sabbath. Our Creator called us to it, right? Remember the Sabbath. Keep it holy. Like our body, we're not designed to go 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. And you look up and it's 365 days a year, and we're not designed to run. Like, we got to take, did you know, a random fact, I share this with all my teenagers. Did you know that the average teenager spends about 8 hours per day on a screen? Like, whether it's an iPhone, a computer, a video game system, and that's not any school-related homework. So if you're a parent, be careful right now, because you cross your arms here. I knew it. I tell my teenagers all the time. Okay, cool. But then have you looked in the mirror at your own screen time? I mean, we find ourselves, I'm guilty of it. We're on the screen. We're checking the stock market. We're checking social media. We're checking the business. We're checking the emails for work. We're checking whatever. we're all in today's society, and I'm not hating on, like, it's a tool. It's just like a hammer. A hammer can be very useful. A hammer can also be extremely reckless. A cell phone, the computer, the technology, the social media is a tool. It's not good or evil. In the hands of the right person, great things can be done. In the hands of the wrong person, a lot of destruction can take place. But when I jumped on, I chased that rabbit, right? But like, we're talking about rest. Sometimes we just need to plug the phone in as a family. Say, you know what? We're getting the TVs out of the bedroom. We're getting the video games out of the bedroom. If we got to, I'm not saying that's not for everybody. We have TVs in our bedroom, but like, we as a family don't feel like there's an over usage, right? Where it pulls away from our marriage or our kids or what we're called to do. And again, there's no judgment. We're just talking, we're brainstorming here about how to become our best. But I know that when our boys were young and in junior high and high school, and they started getting phone privileges, I made sure a couple of things. Number one, that's not your phone. That's my phone. I'm letting you borrow that. So at any point, at any time, if I need to take that up because we're not getting the results or the behavior or the grades or the body language or the right kind of attitude or response that we are, number one, we're trying to model, but number two, that we expect of you, that's my phone. I pay the phone bill. I'm going to take it back up till we start to see some improvement. We didn't have to do that a whole lot, but over the years, that's leverage. If you're a parent out there, that's leverage. If you're a young person and a teenager, just do a self-audit. Where are you spending your time? And again, I love video games. When my boys were little, man, we played the Lego Star Wars and all the Lego Indiana Jones and the Call of Duty and what's the Fortnite. And I know there's a lot of other video games. I'm not very good at them anymore. I used to be really good at them, but I kind of figured as much as I work, I want to spend time with my wife, and I want to spend FaceTime with my kids and stuff like that. And there's, again, love video games, love sports, whatever you can do to bond with your parents or with your children or your grandchildren. Find commonality and do those things. But when we're talking about rest, and I definitely segue because I'm basically reading from my book. Rest is important. Like, we got to get sleep. I tell our athletes, the studies show, this isn't just me talking, the studies show that athletes need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep to recover and go at it the next day. So we got kids that are staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 5 or 6 a.m. to go to school and a workout. It's no wonder that their grades are suffering. Well, what are we going to do about this? We've got to have, again, you look in the mirror, you say, how can I get better? Maybe I need to start plugging my phone in the kitchen so that at night I don't hear that little bzz, that little text or that little Snapchat going off, and like, I don't get any deep sleep at all. I know this is a hot button topic for parents because as a coach, we are in the realm of working with teenagers, and I'll have moms come up to me, Coach, I need your help. Single moms, not a man, there's not a dad in the house. And sometimes I've had single moms ask me or my coaching staff, like, we need your help. We're calling in for backups because we're trying to raise young men and help them learn about the responsibilities of life and getting an education and doing keeping the main thing. But again, if we're not functioning at a high level, let's look at have we grieved? Have we allowed ourselves to feel and sit in the tough time and call it what it is? Sometimes I think when we experience pain, we start to chase the dopamine hits of just sensations, right? How can I just stay so busy that I don't have to acknowledge it? I can't sit quietly with myself. It's just too hard. You say, Stephen, if you knew what I've gone through the last year, I have to stay busy or I'll lose my mind. I have to keep the kids busy or I have to keep the team. So much. And we're going through it. Like, it's a real thing. Whatever you're going through, it's real. And I would never pretend to, number one, know what you're going through, or number two, discredit that. But please, 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 if you need to grieve, grieve. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to rest, get some rest. Put on some soft music. Put on some instrumental music. Put on some praise music. Put on some I mean, turn on YouTube and listen. They've got people that'll read Bible verses to you. Whatever brings your heart and your soul some sort of comfort and peace, we got to have it, because the moment we get up, even though mercies are new every morning, you go out in the world, you hear about politics, you hear about wars and rumors of wars, you go to work and you get around the coffee pot, and then there they come. You know who they are, right? It's the person who walks into the office, and you know the moment they walk in, they're going to start griping, complaining, and gossiping about everyone else. And if they're gossiping to you, don't be surprised when they're gossiping about you. So don't ever feed that stuff. That's a good one. If you like what I just said, give me a heart, a follow, a repost, some sort of, that was good. I'm going to say it again. If they're gossiping to you, don't be surprised when they're gossiping about you to someone else. Because those kind of people, and hopefully you're not one of them. If you are, we got to work on that, because we're trying to become champions, champion leaders, people of excellence. When we walk into a room, do people say, "Thank you, Lord," or do they say, "Oh, Lord"? I'm going to ask that again. If you like that one, give me another heart. Comment below. Say, that was a good one. Something. Let me know you're out there. But like, when you walk into a room, do people say, "Oh, Lordy," or "Thank you, Lordy"? Right? I mean, what energy do we bring into the room when we get home from work? If we're married and we have a relationship with someone we love, and we get home, that's when the real work begins. That's when the most important work begins. And I get it. In Texas, as a high school football a state champion coach, when it's in season, man, we're working 80, 90, sometimes 100 hours a week. We will go early before the sun rises. We get back home often after the sun sets. And we may be tired. We pull in that driveway, we pull in that garage, and we get home. Now the real game, the real work has begun. Because I got to be a champion. If I'm going to tell my team to be a champion, I got to live that out. And the most important place to live that out at is home. It's in my marriage. And I haven't always done a great job at that. My wife and I have been married for 28 years. We were high school sweethearts, married in college. We have 3 sons, 23, 21, and our youngest is 18. And I haven't always been the best dad. I've tried to be an involved father. I love my family. But there have been many times where I'm just so tired. It's like I don't give them my best. They get half of me. Or they get, 3/4. Sometimes a little bit less. But it's like, that's when we got to turn off the distractions and the noise and get back to center, right? So grieve, cry, rest, pray. I am a person of faith. I believe there is a God. I believe he loves us. I believe he created us with a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. Now we go live out that purpose. But I believe that prayer changes things. And we say, well, I think sometimes we look at God like he's a vending machine, right? We walk up to a vending machine, we see Doritos or Takis, we put in the amount of money and we punch a button and out comes the Doritos, out comes the Takis, or you know what? I want a Snicker bar, right? What's your favorite candy bar? Comment below, let me know, right? We go in there and we want that Almond Joy and we put, boom. And we treat our Creator, our Savior, God, like he's a vending machine. We throw up a prayer, we push a button, and we expect it to come out right now. God loves us so much that sometimes he says yes. God loves us so much that sometimes he says no. God loves us so much that sometimes he says, wait. What is being built in those seasons of the waiting is that struggle muscle, just like the weight room. That there's something being built in us, in our heart, mind, and soul, that we're going to need either pretty soon or down the road. That if we don't walk through this and build that resolve, that grit, and that level of faith, don't be discouraged. Don't grow weary, right? When we go through times of testing. Be of good courage. Let your faith be activated. When you pray, pray in such a way where there's a little bit of belief or a lot. And if you struggle with belief, then that's your prayer. Say, I'm struggling right now to pray. Like, I want to pray. I know I should pray, but I pray and it feels like my prayers just bounce off the ceiling. No one's listening. Then that's your prayer. If you struggle with that, open the book of Psalms. Psalms is simply a word that means songs, right? It's in the middle of the Bible. The book of Psalms is just a bunch of songs that were written by people who loved God. Many of them were David, the psalmist, David and Goliath, the little shepherd boy that slayed the giant. He wrote many songs. And if you read, he's regarded as a hero of the Bible, in the Bible, and a hero of the faith. And yet, if you read his songs, there were many times that he talks about crying his eyes out, that his soul, he's in the depths of despair. That's a real thing. If you're there, sit in it, cry, grieve, pray, rest. But joy is on the way. Joy is coming. Believe. So you're telling me there's a chance? The odds are 1 in a million? Keep swinging, keep swimming, keep believing. Breathe. Exercise. I'm going to touch on this. A few years back, I had a health scare. Doctor said I needed to clean up a few things. I was a college athlete, played college basketball, signed to play college football, switched over. But life happens. You work a lot of hours. The kids come along. Stopped prioritizing taking care of myself. And I'm by no means going to join a fitness competition. Some of you out there may be doing that. That's awesome. Okay. Not me. But I'll tell you what, exercising does something to get moving, whether it's walking, whether it's swimming, whether it's aerobics, whether it's lifting weights. Lifting weights is tremendous. Just build those habits, because here's what you'll find. Now, I'm not going to go into all this. You can find plenty of that on the socials, but just get moving, get your body moving for 20 to 30 minutes a day, slow or fast, it doesn't matter. You don't have to sign up for a marathon, but these are the things that we do sometimes to get ourselves out of that pit of frustration and rejection. Just like if you just joined us, we're talking about the show American Idol. And so when you get rejected, how do we respond as champions, as leaders, as people, right? And then take the time that you need and heal. Healing is on its way. I believe that. Get help. If you need to see a counselor, talk to somebody. Get with a local pastor in your area, someone that you can talk with and work through things. It's okay if you're there. Do what you need to do to find peace, come to balance, and keep pressing on. Champions have purpose for their life. I want to tell you tonight that you are a champion. You've got a calling. You're unique. You are destined for greatness. Your potential is limitless. You have what it takes to succeed. Your voice matters. You are meant to make a difference. You carry the power to impact lives. You are capable of achieving extraordinary things. You have the courage to keep moving forward. You are a trailblazer. You inspire others just by being yourself. The world needs what you have to offer. Your passion is your purpose. You are a force to be reckoned with. There are things that only you can do. And there are people you can inspire that no one else can. No one else can do it quite the way you do it. Be encouraged. Every champion goes through the process of rejection and rebounding many times throughout their life. Many times. We never arrive. We never get to a place where well, that season, that was tough, and now I'm just made in the shade with a glass of lemonade. Oh, if you like that one, drop a heart, follow, share, repost. Huh? You ever been made in the shade with a glass of lemonade? Life is good, but we don't get to stay there. We don't get to stay there because if we got too comfortable, we'd stop activating the very gifts and talents that are inside of us that God put there, I believe, to go out and now make a difference, to become more, because there are more people. You say, well, I'm not a coach. I don't have a team of 100 kids that I coach, or I'm not a business owner. I don't oversee 250 employees. It's just me, my dog, and, my grandson. Well, you know what? Don't look at it that way. What an opportunity where it's you and your dog and you're pouring into your grandson. Or if you're a single mom and you've got your 2 or 3 kids, or you're a single dad, or you're a married couple and you can't have children. I've got family and friends that have done everything they know to do to have their own babies, and it for one reason or another, it hasn't happened yet, or it may not happen. You know how many kids are waiting for adoption, foster care system? Like, there are people out there, if you want to love and impact people, they're out there. Just start to look, get your head on a swivel. In football, we say, keep your head on a swivel. You got to see what's coming. Well, in life, we got to get our head on the swivel. If we will pray and ask for discernment and wisdom, we'll realize there are people all around us that they need a fist bump. They need a high five. They need a word of encouragement, because life has been mowing them down and cutting them down, and they're one conversation away from a breaking point. Do you know anyone like that? That may be you. I hope tonight you're encouraged a little bit. But here's the thing, if you're going through that, when people are going through tough times, they say one of the number one ways to help climb out of despair and discouragement is to find someone who's got it a little worse off than you do. Just someone who's going through something just like you. And then you go find a way to be a blessing in their life. Man, go get them a cheeseburger. Go get them an ice cream cone. Take them to church with you. Go to the library. Go to the park. Go throw the frisbee. Go throw the football. We are so, as a society, in tune to screens. I'm sitting in a room right now. I'm actually in the guest bedroom. My son is home from college, and I'm seeing we got a TV on the wall, TV he brought home from college, a video game screen TV. I'm on there's 4 screens in this one room. We are a society, and again, it's not right or wrong. It's a tool. If I went out into the garage, I'd have all kinds of hammers and screwdrivers and pliers, and those are tools. What do we use them for? We want to impact, inspire, influence, and ignite the champion inside of each of you. That's what we're called to do. So if you're being encouraged, man, heart, like, follow, share, repost, all those things, and just know that if you're going through a tough time, find someone else who's going through a tough time as well, and let's lock arms and let's get out. Let's climb out of that. We'll cry, we'll pray, we'll rest, we'll exercise, we'll do the thing, we'll get the help we need, we'll get the coaching and the teaching. If we want to become more, we gotta, I tell my team this, we become like the 5 people we spend the most time with. Your 5 closest friends. Just think that you say, man, I don't even know if I have 5 friends. I have one friend. Some of you say tonight, I don't have any friends. Well, maybe you don't. Let's start praying that there'll be somebody that walks into our life that's a good friend, that's someone that's trustworthy, reliable, encouraging. The other thing they say is, like, we attract who we are, not who we want to be. I'm going to say that again. We attract who we are, not who we want to be. If we're negative, guess who we attract? If we complain, we attract other complainers. Man, I wish it weren't that way. If we're sloppy, we attract. And again, I'm not coming at you. I'm coming at myself. I'm coming at the lower tendencies that we're all capable of, right? But man, if we wake up and we reframe those tough things and say, you know what, I'm going to be tougher and stronger and better because I'm going through this. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow from this. I'm not going to become bitter. I'm going to become better. all of a sudden our antennas go up and we start to look for those opportunities, those friendships, those relationships who are going after the same things that we want. And let me tell you this, when you start to climb levels of leadership, levels of excellence, levels of business, levels of relationship, some people will choose to go with you. And that's awesome. Way to go. High five. But what we found is there's a lot of people, your friends, sometimes family, co-workers, when you are trying to aspire to become more, they don't want to go with you because now they've got to look themselves in the mirror and they have to make a decision if they're comfortable with where they're at. Your presence makes them uncomfortable because now you're chasing excellence. Now you're pursuing faith and family and fitness and fun. And all of a sudden, that's why, again, you attract who you are, not who you want to be. Well, I want to be fit. Well, I want to have faith. I want to have family. Okay, so what are we doing? What books are we reading? What podcasts are we listening to? What leadership lessons are we absorbing? What's on your bathroom mirror? What goals have you written down for 2026? What did you learn in 2025 that now you're saying in 2026, I'm going after these 5 things? What are they? Are you having those conversations with your 8-year-old child, with your 14-year-old teenager, with your spouse, with your parents, with your coaching staff, with your teams? Are you just lifting weights? Are you just going throughout your day, going to work, coming home, making dinner, watching a TV show, going to bed, waking up, going to work, coming home, making dinner, right? Blah, 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 blah. Like, what are we doing to become more as a person, as a leader, as a champion of impact and influence? Be encouraged. Champions look at the reality of what happened. We're not dismissing and saying it didn't happen. It was bad. Let's call it what it was. Maybe it was a bad year. Maybe it's a bad season. Let's call it what it is. It's bad. Champions look at the reality. Like we can't bury our heads in the sand and pretend like everything's rainbows and sunshine and cupcakes with sprinkles. A couple days ago, my wife and I were in Nashville, Tennessee, and we went into a donut shop, and man, they had all these donuts. And here I am talking about fitness, but let me tell you what, when my wife wants a donut, we're going to get a donut. You know what I'm saying? If you like that, give me a heart, a follow, a share, a repost. Okay? Stay active in here. But if I want a donut, I'm going to get a donut. I mean, I worked out that day, got my steps in, got my weight room workout in, so we shared a donut, and it was really good, and it had a lot of chocolate on it. It had some sprinkles. Life isn't always these donuts with sprinkles, man. Sometimes life is tough and it's hard and you lose a loved one. Some of you have lost someone that you love, maybe a parent, a child, a spouse, a close friend. And there's a void and an emptiness there that it won't go away. That's reality. And we don't know if it ever will. So what do we do in those moments? That's where we need to activate and press into the pain and allow that pain, value the pain, value it. Because that pain can, once again, make us bitter, or it can make us better if we allow it. It can drive us to a place where we bow our knee and there's a place of surrender, submission, and faith gets activated. See, that's where the thorn and the rose, it's beautiful. It's a paradox, but it's beautiful because the pain can bring us to a place of beauty. Champions reflect on what happened. So the reality is whatever happened that was rough and tough and hard and maybe horrible, we acknowledge that. Now we reflect. Sometimes once you get past and far enough out, you can look back and now it doesn't quite sting as much as it once did. And now we can reflect and say, man, I can't believe I walked through that. I walked through that and we were able to keep our marriage. I walked through that and I was able to keep food on the table. We walked through that and we were able to Or we may have to process and say, I walked through that and I lost a lot. I'm still figuring out how to walk through that. But we can acknowledge the reality of what happened. We can reflect on what happened. And then champions, and this is who we all are aspiring to become. Champions respond to what happened the right way. I don't always handle things the right way, but I want to. I want to care enough. Well, I don't care. Whatever. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. I don't know if that's the attitude of a champion. We got to care more. And that doesn't mean care about what others think. I'm not talking about perception versus reality. I'm talking about let's care about who we're becoming so that we handle situations. We can't control how they handled the situation, but we can control and respond to what happened the right way. And champions receive the reward with gratitude. At some point, whatever we walk through, we'll be able to reflect, look back. We'll be able to acknowledge the reality of what happened. We'll be able to reflect. We'll be able to respond the right way. And then in time, we receive the reward of all those things wrapped up together to become someone who is carrying the scars of the past, but they heal. And now we have a message that came from the mess. What if our mess became a message of hope for others who are going through similar things? What if the tests that we've gone through one day become our testimony? So you're telling me there's a chance? My chances are 1 in a million to get through this, to survive this. All my friends said if I went through this, I'd throw in the towel. I'd quit. I'd just give up on that relationship. I'd just give up on that teenager. But there's something inside of you that knows that there's more. And on the other side of us surrendering that and reflecting on that, responding on that, there is something in the future. You know it. I'm not saying. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen. Some of you may have heard that before. It's a promise out of the Bible. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for. Faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things that are not seen. In other words, man, when you've got belief, it's there. You know it is. It's that substance of things that we're hoping for, right? And it's the evidence of things that are not seen. We can't see it. It's supernatural, right? But I believe that. I believe that. It's a core of what I believe. And so when we look at American Idol and we look at all the judges when contestants would get rejected or laughed off stage, and they or their family members and friends would respond sometimes with gratitude, like, hey, we'll try out next year. Better luck next time. I'm going to go get vocal lessons. And then sometimes you look at the response of some of the people throwing temper tantrums and fits, and we look at the criticisms, and it's a wonder that the American Idol contestants can even get back up on stage the next week because it feels like they've just been kicked around. But if they can get up on stage and keep singing and using their gifts in the middle of the pain, then maybe there's a message or a lesson there for you and me. Maybe we can get back up and keep singing. Even if our voice cracks and even if the song isn't beautiful, it's once again, it's if we didn't make the cut, maybe we're supposed to be doing something else. If we don't advance, maybe we need to improve and get better. If we didn't win, maybe we're supposed to grow from the loss. What can I learn from this? Is there any truth to what I'm hearing? Do I trust and respect the source? How do we respond? So what? Now what? So it happened. Life doesn't happen to me. It happens for me. It happened. Good. Acknowledge the rejection or the loss and use it to your advantage. Let's get better. It's a chance to grow and improve for the next opportunity. You know, here's the reward. Victory: when you win, celebrate with a heart of gratitude and thanks. When you have success, when you reach the top, thank everyone who helped you along the way. And humility: stay humble and realize the magic is in impacting others to be their best. American Idol and the quest for the golden ticket is actually an illustration about the journey all of us have in life and in leadership. It's about rejection. It's about reality. It's about reflecting. It's about responding. It's about rebounding. It's about rising. And it's about the reward. In the next time we get together, we're going to be looking at some specific stories of some of our American Idol contestants over the years and some of their personal stories of rejection and rebounding, responding, and rising to become the American Idol. So whether you're a coach or a business owner, whether you're a husband, a wife, a parent, a teenager, an athlete, a team captain, whatever you do in life, the arena you do it in, remember this: we want to impact others. We want to inspire others. We want to influence others. And we want to ignite the champion inside of us and inside of others. That's what we do here. So once again, we're on all the socials. Check us out. This is information, and a lot of tonight's ideas come from this book that I have written and released. My name's Stephen Greek. I'm a 4-time state champion Texas high school football coach. I'm an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and we are in the process of impacting people. So if you like this information, please share it with everybody you know. Tag some people, share it with people that you feel they would benefit from tonight. And we just thank you for jumping on tonight. Write in there some topics you'd like us to cover. God bless you guys. We're building champions. The sun is going to come out tomorrow. You go attack the day. The mercies of the Lord are new every morning. There's a clean slate. So whatever failures we have in the past, tomorrow's a new day. Get your rest tonight. Wake up tomorrow with a new pep in your step, a fire in your belly, in your spirit, and go be great. God bless you and have a great night.